All right, guys, so it is the second half of the Wind and Wing event, and we now have access to Seraphina. So I'm gonna do a few pulls, try to get her. I'm not gonna go for dupes. Um, just remember that you can get her for free if you want to wait until, I don't know, takes about a week to get her for free. But I want to try her now, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull her, and hopefully don't have too bad of luck. Off to a good start. Not spectral kill rain. All right. This is usually how my pulls go in this game. It's not looking good. All right. 50 pulls. That's okay. Could be worse. So let's talk about her skills. At the start of the battle, she's going to apply an attack speed up minor to whoever's in front of her and to the left of her. She also makes it so that whenever a Windchaser ally dodges a basic attack, they're going to get 1 stack of Feathers of War. Feathers of War increases crit rate and crit damage, and it is stackable. It stacks up to 20 times. Her basic attack is the usual, just deals a percentage of their attack damage as physical damage, but it also applies a Radiant Feather to whoever she attacks. This can stack up to 20 times, and this is how she's going to get Feathers of War. Whenever an enemy dies, she pulls these feathers back to get Feathers of War, and she grants half of those stacks to Windchaser allies. Special ability activates every 3 basic attacks and deals some bonus damage and applies another Radiant Feather. Her ultimate is how she's going to consistently get Feathers of War stacks without killing enemies. This ultimate does a lot of damage just up front. It's at level 5, it does 3600 attack damage as physical damage and applies 2 more feathers to the target. And then the second part of the ultimate, she's gonna retrieve all of the feathers that she has stacked onto the enemy. So right now, 240% attack damage. If she has 20 stacks, that's close to 5,000 damage, or 5,000% attack damage. And then she's gonna apply Feathers of War based on how many stacks she pulled back, and her allies are going to get half of these stacks. All right, let's talk about investment tips for Seraphina's abilities. So every level in her basic attack is going to give her 5% more attack damage. It's fine. I'd say a good stopping point for this is at level 7. Anything past 7 is always going to be a heavy investment. Same thing with her special. Stop at level 7. You're going to get about 20% extra damage per level. And this is going to be about as significant as just investing points into the basic attack. The special and the basic are about equal value. The ultimate is deceptively pretty strong to level. Good place to stop is at level 7. But every level, you're going to get an extra 150% attack as physical damage just up front. And also every feather is going to get an extra 10% attack damage. So potentially this is about 350% bonus attack every time you level up the ultimate. But you're not going to ult that many times in a fight, even like a long fight. So yeah, safe place to level everything is to 7. And then I'd recommend going for ultimate, special, basic in those orders to level up to 10. But I think there are much better ultimates to focus on leveling up, so maybe just keep everything at 7 for a while. Damage dealers tend to be the first on the chopping block when it comes to getting replaced in the meta. So unless you're using this character like a lot and someone that's much better at math than me puts out a investment guide, I would say stick to 7 for all of her abilities. Relic, Eye of Truth. If you don't have any slots left on your Eye of Truth, I would recommend Philosopher's Stone as a second pick. I guess Peacemaker as your third pick, but I guess at that point you're just equipping whatever you have empty slots on. But yeah, give her Eye of Truth because she benefits a lot from the attack speed and she's a marksman. She wants to basic attack a lot. When it comes to Echo Gear, you're gonna want to look for all damage bonus, physical damage bonus, and attack speed. Crit chance and crit damage are fine, but physical damage, all damage, and attack speed, those are all going to be great. That's what you're going to want. Blood soul recovery is okay on pretty much everybody, but I'd try to avoid getting it on your damage dealers. So let's talk about lineups for Seraphina. Like, who do you want to use her with? So initially I was thinking that Seraphina would be a great buffer for Van Helsing, but the truth is that Seraphina just outclasses Van Helsing by a lot. She has a much more useful ult. She has a cheaper ult. She has more utility than Van Helsing, and she just does more damage than Van Helsing. Van Helsing is still good. My issue with him is that his ultimate is just far too expensive. It should be a 4 cost, honestly. It's nowhere near as powerful as something like Timeless Iona, who is also a 4 cost. Yeah, I hope that gets addressed in the future. But here's something I threw together that would be very strong. Seraphina, obviously. Letitia, for Windchaser stacks, and she's just a super strong character on her own. She's very durable. She can play the role of a tank. Albrecht, for obvious reasons. He gives damage taken debuff to enemies, and he's just a great healer. Ressa, because her ultimate is so cheap, it's good for cycling and getting to the more useful ultimates. Plus she's a Windchaser unit and benefits from everything that Seraphina and Letitia are bringing to the table. And Agnes, because Agnes's ult stacks everything up tightly, which really benefits Seraphina's ult and Letitia's ult, since they're small AoEs that do a lot of damage. But also because Agnes applies a physical defense down to everyone she hits with her ultimate, and this is a team of physical damage dealers. So, you know, it's a no-brainer there. And since it is a physical defense down and not a damage taken up like Albrecht provides, they stack together and work very well. If you don't want to use Agnes, if you have Acapella available, then use Acapella. She's very good as well. So yeah, if you do need a tank, then your team might look something like this. And again, Agnes would be a great replacement for Acapella. Something to consider for like clan hunts when you can't use the same character for all 3 of your attempts. Yeah, something like this would work very well. All right, so I took Seraphina for a test run into Little Bella number 13, and these were the results. The way I was using my ultimates was I was prioritizing using Timeless Iona's ultimate as much as possible, just to get as much uptime. When it came to burst phases, you know, like when breaking the shield or destroying the chest, I would prioritize using Letitia's ultimate or Seraphina's ultimate if she had a high amount of feathers on the target. So I was never using Seraphina's ultimate on the chest because she didn't have time to build up stacks on it. But other than that, like, these are the results of Seraphina's damage when I was prioritizing Timeless Iona's ultimate. One thing to note here is that with Little Bella number 13, she does have a defensive passive where she takes reduced damage from any non-critical attacks, which is going to be the majority of Timeless Iona's attacks. So these results are a little bit skewed, but all the damage that Seraphina did, like, that's just the amount of damage that she did. That it has nothing to do with how much Timeless Iona did. Seraphina does so much damage, and this is a very low investment character I have right now. All of her abilities are at level 5, or she doesn't have any echo gear, and pretty much all she has is level 0 tier 9 gear and Eye of Truth artifact at level 5, and she is doing as much damage as Iona does. It's pretty crazy. I don't think she's going to replace Iona in any kind of multi-target fight. Iona's ultimate is just so strong. The fact that she can attack like every target several times with her buffed up basic attacks. Seraphina's more of like a long, she excels at long fights, like boss fights, where she has time to stack up the feathers and then use her ultimate to do a ton of damage. And she's also going to be buffing Letitia specifically through the dodge stacks that she gets. But yeah, Seraphina is going to be an extremely strong bossing character, just based on this low investment test. These are kind of like ideal circumstances for Seraphina, but I think she's gonna be very useful. I'm definitely looking forward to trying her in like the next clan hunt. Maybe if we have like another Prophecy Unbound. Also looking forward to trying her in the other Haunted Sepulchre boss fights. But yeah, grab a copy of Seraphina. She's really fucking good.